gentlemen, we are here in the Lazarus match, the second to last match of the group stage. It is going to be this player representing Root, as well as the 6-time EPS champion. It is Petraeus.
Oh, for goodness sake. And his opponent, who is not representing any 6-time EPS champions, and for that I feel it spells his doom, up in the 2 o'clock spawn, in the blue, just representing Root Gaming, it is the Terran player MaSa.
So both of these players from Root, Petraeus in the EU at the moment, hailing from New Zealand, but recently in the Root House. So this guy is pretty international, you know? Probably got a lot of stamps on his passport.
I'm so glad that I didn't claim that he was American earlier. I thought about it and I realised that I didn't know, and I just decided that I'd let it go. And finding out that he is from New Zealand, I'm really happy I made that decision.
Yeah, he was originally from New Zealand, one of the top contenders in the SEA region, and then got picked up by Root, and he's been making a name for himself, streaming a ton, and making some early lings here, as he did go for the pool first. Maybe a little bit nervous about MaSa's playstyle, because MaSa is one that would 2-rax you on this map if you are not careful.
Yeah, he is. He strikes me as a little bit ruthless at times, does MaSa. The kind of mentality that you get when you decide you're going to win games, and you just go, "Yep, it doesn't matter what I do. I'm just going to kill you. I'm going to kill you, and you're going to be dead." And it's that blunt force, but it works. And that's kind of what we saw Rain doing. It's what we've seen Parting living and dying by. And it's what MaSa, I think, tries to bring to a lot of his games as well.
Yeah. Just loves to showcase his control, and also loves to showcase his aggressiveness. He kind of reminded me of Lilikanin in the sense that he's very methodical with his build, where it's like, I'm going to punch you here, and then I'm going to punch you there, and then I'm going to roundhouse kick you through the window that's going to land on a car that drives into a flaming barrel of TNT. Exactly how MaSa does love to do his builds. And we see it quite a bit.
That is a brutal way of describing it. Like I was waiting for it to end, and then you said a barrel of tea, and I got confused, but that's just my Britishness talking. Not again. Never again. We're never letting it be poured in the harbour. One time was enough.
Yeah.
But a lot of lings coming out from Petraeus now, like actually quite a lot, to coincide with the advent of speed to the field. And that wall at the front is almost complete for MaSa. In fact, it's fully complete with the addition of that supply depot, but not all of it can be repaired yet. So this is going to depend how quickly we see Petraeus move up the ramp. He's moving straight up.
He's going in. He doesn't have too many Marines out, as he did make that reactor into that factory, so... Though the SCVs do have some good surface area, and that one Marine is worth his weight in minerals, as he does try to... I don't know, is the DPS gonna outdo the repair? I don't even know. It's looking like it will, though.
Not if there's Hellion. There's anything to say about it.
Yeah. So, really nice defense here from MaSa, not letting those lings in. Hellions are out now, and Petraeus... What is he going to do now? His initial aggression didn't really do too much.
Getting that third base fairly early, which is going to delay any kind of tech that we see it coming out. And in fact, taking a second gas in the natural as well. So it's going to be a fairly low gas opening for him with the Baneling Nest. So it's probably... We might see single Evo into perhaps a Lingbane style or Lingbane Muta. We might see a Roach Warren come down, a general Roach Bane with a macro hatch style, or it could just be straight macro.
Yeah, I'm wondering what he's going to be doing with this lair. Petraeus got the lair, but he only decided to mine off of 2 gas. So it looks like he's just getting his tech out, using Queens for his main defense, and getting the Baneling Nest for safety against maybe Hellbats. So you never want to skip that Baneling Nest in this matchup anymore. I mean, it's been a kind of a staple in the matchup, but you can't delay it anymore as much as you used to be able to.
It used to go down at about the same time. It would finish in line with the lair, and with the Hellbat patch, that meant that Hellbats were available for Terrans as early as perhaps 6:40 to 7 minutes. You absolutely cannot do that anymore. It is just not safe. It cannot be done.
So it can be done if you want to be greedy, but you can die, and it looks pretty embarrassing when All of your lings get just destroyed by those Hellbats. But MaSa,
Yeah.
looking to be very aggressive. He is gone for this Cloak Banshee style, but he's dropping the racks once more. And I don't know. Are we going to see him? Are we going to see Petraeus fall to another 2-base strategy from a Terran player, as we did see him fall to Ryung before with a style that was kind of similar to this?
I don't know. I don't feel it's quite as hard hitting. Ryung went for a massed bio push off 2 bases, and it hit quite late, but with a lot of forces. And at this point, it doesn't really have the massed bio impetus to it. Instead, focusing more on the Hellions and the Banshees. So I don't know if MaSa's going to be able to deliver such a knockout punch as we saw from Ryung.
Well, the Spire's about to be done here, and the Banshees haven't done anything yet. There's already a Spore Crawler here, and I think he should be able to ward this away. He might lose a little bit, but shouldn't be too significant. MaSa's going to have to try to get as much as he can out of this without losing it. Here comes the Queens from the other side, but 7 meters are going to be able to clean this up as long as that Overseer keeps a tab on where those Banshees go.
Well, it is trying to do that, but there's no Overlord speed, is there? No pneumatized Carapace upgrade, so it's not going to be able to chase alongside those Banshees for a while yet.
Nope. 11 drones on the way here
enough
from Petraeus. And MaSa setting up for a really strong 2-base push again. +1 is about to be done. Medivacs are on the way, and even Combat Shield. But this is going to have a few Widow Mines with it as well. I'm wondering when this push exactly is going to hit. Will he wait for Combat Shield to be done, or is he going to try to hit it and then have Combat Shield kind of supplement it like during the actual push? I would hope that he would wait for Combat Shield, but I mean, I don't know here. It's a lot of supply here for MaSa.
Yeah, it is, and the Mutas are going to help increase that lead by flying in, picking off some critical units like Widow. It's actually not getting that mine, but it didn't go off on them either, so not the worst thing in the world. Emergency turrets being thrown down by MaSa, but this force is moving out towards the middle of the map that's been held by the Hellions for so long, denying that map vision for Petraeus, and actually suiciding a lot of Lings that could have been turned into Banes.
Yeah, and the Mutas as well. Remember the last time Petraeus had Baneling speed when this push hit, and now Combat Shield isn't done, but yes, the push is already happening. Petraeus doesn't have much on the ground at all. He has 60 drones, and doesn't realize that this push is a 2-base, I'm gonna come and kill you build.
It is. MaSa smells blood moving in the second. He saw, huge Widow Mine hit against those Banes, and another one on its way. The Hellions have just cleaned up all the Banelings. There's almost nothing left. GG is called. MaSa. Yellow, currently representing EPS, but actually from Root Gaming, it is the Zerg player Petraeus.
Responding to his opposite, also representing Root Gaming, up 1 game. In this best of 3 series, it is the Teal Terran MaSa. Right, so the winner of this whole match is going to be going on to face against Ryung for a chance to advance into the round of 8.
And that is not a particularly enviable position in the first place, especially since Petraeus was already defeated by Ryung a little earlier. So we might see yet another rematch if he is the one who takes the next 2 games. But at the same time, Ryung is a strong player, and of course, as I've said before, the winner of this group, the remaining winner, gets to face Jaedong, and that is a burden on the mind, to say the least.
I mean, in a tournament like this, at this stage, it's like anyone that you have to face in the round of 8 is going to be a formidable opponent. So it's like, what can you do?
Absolutely.
What can you do? So, well, you know what I was thinking as well. Petraeus has only had to do ZVTs in this group so far, and I've seen him play very strong. We saw him in game number 1 play quite strong against Ryung, and it makes me also wonder too that if he's facing off against 2 Terrans completely differently, 2 different styles, although similar aggression, at least in game number 1, I wonder if the 2 styles that he's playing against, Korean Terran versus a North American Terran, and he's been practicing a lot on EU, if the meta is any different there, or if anything, like, can you, the way that you play your game is a little bit different. simply because you're playing against players that may not necessarily play on the same server for practice.
Yeah, you end up with those little interesting things, like we talked about the Phoenix Colossus being different.
Yep.
And it's just that kind of thing where you see those interesting new styles. And when it first came to the meta, Phoenix Colossus threw everyone for a loop.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes here. MaSa opening up with the Reaper, doing a bit of work though into the natural of Petraeus. I don't know if a drone did go down. No, looks like no drones have gone down just yet, but the Reaper is being a bit annoying, using that cliff a little bit to his advantage. But Petraeus opening up with the greedier style of this hatch first into gas, as he is pulled completely out of the gas as well this time. So he's just going to try to get as many drones out as he can. And he's on a map here that he can exploit the kind of way that it is laid out. Very, very open natural if you are able to get into it. But MaSa doing what he does best, at least right now, as he does make even more Reapers. Oh my god, he's making an additional 2 Reapers right now. Going up to a total of 3 after this next one pops out. But he is dropping that starport. No tech lab though, so I don't know if that Banshee is going to come into play this game.
Oh, actually seeing a reasonably quick third out of Petraeus. He did this in the previous game, didn't he? Getting it down just a little bit sooner than you might expect to see for Zerk going for a more tech-heavy play. But obviously with this delayed gas that he's been using, he probably isn't going for a massively tech-oriented play. Instead going for one of the lower gas styles, like Roach use, like Ling with a bit of Bane mixed in, and generally teching out behind all of that.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of drones at the moment. Gonna try to go ahead and get that third all cleared away from those debris that are blocking. We haven't seen any other tech come out of Petraeus just yet. And over on the side of MaSa, he is loving these kind of tech. Okay, he did drop that tech lab on the barracks, but he's loving this kind of tech play. He's gonna be getting a medevac with this, and he's also getting an armory. So we're gonna see Reaper, Hellbat, and Banshee. So
that's a lot of DPS.
Yeah, and if Petraeus is able to deal with it, he's going to find himself in a very comfortable position. But this is the moment of discomfort, as he does have to deal with this push on the way with not even the Baneling that's completed.
Yeah, I mean, there are 5 Queens there, and Queens are a good unit, but at the same time, they've used a lot of their energy up already, and a surround on the Hellbats, that's almost right where they want the Lings to be.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know, the Queen's focusing those guys down really nicely.
Really nice micro from MaSa picking up the injured Hellbats, but he doesn't get any economic damage done, and that's a very big investment there. I'm wondering if he did make a Banshee. I believe he did, but no, he did not yet. He has a tech lab on it, but he just continued to make medevacs and is going to try to break Petraeus here. But now Petraeus has enough to make those Banelings, but he's feeling comfortable and is going to be just droning.
Yeah, I mean, don't forget the indirect damage, of course. When forcing units out, you are denying drones from the lava. But it wasn't a huge amount. It wasn't like a game-ending amount of lava being spent there. Just a single wave being turned into Lings instead of drones. Just once. Nice drop position on those Hellbats, though. And the Queen going to chase away the medevacs because obviously they can't hide nearly as effectively as they want to.
Yeah. MaSa just saying, I'm not going to do Banshees anymore. Just going to go ahead and drop that reactor on that starport. And just get that. Yep, he started stim with that, so he wasn't planning to go Banshees ever this game. I just always see the tech lab and then a starport. I'm like, oh, he's going Banshees, but no. He just did it to do that Hellbat push, and is going to continue to get some damage done here with this, as it is going to drop into the main.
On the way. Hellbat drop, trying to kill off some workers, and actually this could get... Oh, Banelings, though. Killing off a lot of Lings really quickly, picking up a couple of units once more. MaSa's going to get those out of there, pretty much. And another drop down the side, in the natural.
Yeah, there's just a lot of damage being done here to Petraeus, who's trying to hold this with only Lings and Banes, but the mobility of those medevacs is making this very difficult.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking around. I think that having those... having that medevac on the follow command for the drones caused it to take quite a lot of damage it didn't want to. When trying to kite the drones, but instead we're seeing another wave of drones coming out of Petraeus, and actually he isn't able to make that many units right in this moment. He doesn't really have the defense that he might like.
No, and I'm surprised he's just continuing to drone up so crazily. Like, despite all of this happening, he's holding it with the Queens and getting his upgrades. His layers a bit later, but he is gonna have a really nice economy to deal with the follow-up push from MaSa. But MaSa's actually dropping a third base, going over to the gold And he's going to have a swell of mineral income if Petraeus doesn't do anything about that.
Oh, yeah, that is a lot of money you're going to be getting as a Terran. And as a Terran, you are very, very well placed to benefit from it. Of course, scouted immediately by a Ling from Petraeus, so he knows that's there. And there's a 4th base on its way for him as well.
Yep. Baneling speed just now started, as well as Aspire. So a lot of this stuff is late for him. And it's going to be a little bit more... he's going to find it hard. He's going to be hard-pressed to make something happen, because I feel like MaSa could still exploit those medevacs, and just try to do a little bit more damage, keeping Petraeus from mining as he does get this infrastructure up. Because once he starts mining from this, and he just begins to drop down those racks and just get 2-2 on the way if he chooses to, I wonder what Petraeus is supposed to do.
It is going to be challenging.
Style again, right?
You know what, I actually think we will. I think that's exactly what we might see. Although for now, he is going with the melee and carapace upgrades. Petraeus is known for transitioning towards swarm hosts as we get to the mid-late game. So I think that is exactly what we'll see out of him.
Alright, well, his creep spread is really nice. He set it up, got that 4th base about to be completed. And he just has a nice position, It's very easy for him to go for back and forth and defend. It's just up to how he takes his engagements. Foxtrot Labs doesn't really have much open area unless MaSa were to push into the base. But let's see. He's already moving out.
Those chokes allow for funnels of locust directed straight towards the enemy, and it could end up being quite a scary attack if MaSa does end up having to try and fight through that. It's just going to be a real struggle, like we saw in the game that Ryong lost against Petraeus. It just shouldn't be done. You're not trading effectively. Yeah,
and meters are just now coming out. There are no turrets inside of the gold base of MaSa, but MaSa's push does get held back, and Petraeus is on 4 bases right now. Is he mining the gases there, though? Not really utilizing it, just getting the extra minerals to survive, and not thinking about teching just at the moment. He just needs a 4-stack and obliterate MaSa's, and then kind of push it back. But it's going to be so much harder.
He's just put them into gas on that 4th now. So now we're going to have 4 base gas income powering that Zerg economy. That is kind of where you want to be. You don't want to be trading too inefficiently, of course, on only 4 bases. But you need to... it's a good situation when you're against a 3-base Terran, although that gold base is like the equivalent of that extra gas base from MaSa's perspective. Looking good for him.
As you see, Terrans float a lot of gas. It's minerals that they want. Petraeus going in just with a few banelings at a time. He needs to dedicate so much of his gas into banelings just to survive. How is he even going to transition into anything else if he's consistently under this pressure? Oh, but good surround here from Petraeus, coming from both sides. But he just doesn't have enough on the ground at this moment. MaSa is moving on forward, and this 4th base is under siege. Well, just under fire, rather.
Yeah, going to be blasted into. The Banes, of course, still trying to morph in defensively. Actually getting a ton of Marines there, but I still think this 4th base is going to be forfeit in the near future. Although if those Marauders aren't targeting right, maybe... There we go. The focus down on that does make sure that the base is dropped. 4th of Petraeus goes down, and MaSa beats a well-earned retreat.
He does, and he still has a lot to mine from that gold base. It's not like the point where Petraeus has just been holding on, and then those gold minerals do run out eventually. But this is the point where Terran is strongest. It's that mid-game and getting that income from that gold base, and just the path that he goes on is directly to where he wants to be, which is, at Petraeus' side of the map. So, Petraeus can't get those counterattacks that we saw him do so well in the other games in this game.
Yeah, he did that really well, running into that 3rd base of Ryong on Overgrowth, but maybe that's why MaSa vetoed Overgrowth.
Yeah, he did.
He was one of the Overgrowth vetoes. Yeah.
So yeah.
Just went, I've seen what you can do. I'm not having any of that.
Not at all. But Petraeus has held his back. He has a supply lead. He's stabilizing, getting the infestation pit up, and he's going to go for that 4th base again. And maybe he just does not want to take the gold base of his own. Because, you can exploit that with the ranged because they're open. If you look at the back of the gold minerals, it's very open, and you can do quite a bit of damage to that drone line. But here comes Petraeus with the banelings, busting down that gold base. But MaSa moves his SCVs pretty easily.
Yeah, he gets it out of the way, lost a couple of Marines, but that's about it. And we're seeing an attempt at setting up for that flank there from Petraeus, running those Lings onto the high ground, trying to get a surround off, but it isn't going to work. MaSa was on top of that. He cleared out the area and made sure that his army was safe to advance before he did so.
Yeah, doing those counterattacks into the natural of MaSa, but there are no SCVs here. MaSa has transferred most of his SCVs from his natural to that gold, and now we're looking at an army supply that is very Terran favored, 108 to 76, plus 3 attack is on the way. Petraeus.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna lose his 4th base again?
Oh no, I feel like he is. Those Banes are going off mostly on Marauders. He's trying to transition towards the Swarm hosts that he apparently loves so much, but I'm not sure if he's going to be alive for long enough to use them.
I don't think he will either. He's cleaning up the army, but most of his army, or at least most of his supply that he has, is in the workers. He has 80 drones that can only mine off of 3 bases, and GG!